Hello, friends and folks. Welcome to another episode of our sewing lessons. I never thought we would continue it, but since we have a few subscribers and our views are slowly getting up, then we really have to continue, don't we? So I am Chari and welcome to our channel, The Creative Video Lesson. Today, we are going to transfer the measurement data that we took on those 2 episodes on how to take measurements. We are going to transfer them into our pattern papers. This is the first process of making your dreams into a reality. First, the sketch or the design. Remember the designs we did last time, so we will follow through with those designs so that it's easier for you to follow. Okay. Next is the measurements, the one we did last time. Okay, so we have to have that in front of us so that we have our reference in our pattern making. Next one is a pattern paper. Okay, next is the tape measure, and of course your scissors, your pins, and the most important, your fabrics. Of course, the tailor's ruler or any ruler will do. Now, let's start. Okay. What we have to do now is to determine the body line. It is so easy to determine it on a mannequin. So this is the center front, which is really the middle of your body. Now, if you turn the mannequin at the back, you can also see that there is a center back. Okay, so that means that's your whole half of the body, or whole half of the body, but we have to be sure that we have the center line there, so we know that it's both sides are really equally measured. So how do we put that into a pattern paper? Now this is our pattern paper. For the whole front or the whole back, that will be how it would look like. But for you to determine the center front or the center back, you have to fold it and therefore fold it on. So if you're using a pattern paper, there are marks there. Now if you really want it to be straight, just follow a row of those marks. Okay? And the fold becomes, where the fold is, this one, becomes your center front or your center back. Just write on the paper, center front. Easier for you to determine it or see it. Okay, let's have a look. Alright, so in your pattern paper, to determine the center front or the center back, you have to divide the measurements. Okay, this was our measurement last time that we did. So these are the full measurements. 35 inches, for example, the upper bust is 35 inches, half of it is 17.5, a quarter is 8.75. So first, your shoulder to bust. Okay, mark an area for you to determine that's your shoulder. So we have in our measurement 11 inches. So we mark the 11 inches there. Okay. Then shoulder to waist, which is 18 inches. Okay. go down. So that is your waist. And then your desired length. Just mark your desired length. Remember, this is the top. Now the nipple to nipple is 9 inches. So what is half of 9? The way I do it is I just find the 9 inches mark there, and then I fold it to there. If you'll have a hard time with your arithmetic, so that's 4.5. So that's your bust, and 4.5 is there. So mark it as well. Okay, that's the shoulder. That's where your nipple is, or your bust. That's the waist, and that's your desired length. And this is the center front. We'll do the center front first. So the neckline is 7. Half of 7 is 3.5. So that's the shoulder that we had, didn't we? So 3.5. So mark it. That is your neckline. So for example, you have neckline that is like that, then you can start it from there if you want. It is your neckline. But if you remember, our design doesn't need a neckline. Alright, the shoulder is 13 inches. So what's half of 13? So again, from the center front to 6.5. So that is your shoulder base. So for example, we'll have just an example here. Just sleeveless, a simple sleeveless like that. So that will start from there. Now if you remember, our design of the top only needs a spaghetti strap. Yeah? So therefore, where do you want your strap to be? Do you want it at the middle? So that will look like that. Okay. For example, I will just draw strap so that you will know how it would look like on our pattern paper, how the top would look like on our pattern paper. Okay, so that will be your strap, where your strap should be. Next is the bust. The bust is 35 inches. So half of it is 17.5 and the quarter of it is 8.75. So if you remember, this is the bust. So 8.75. Now if you also remember, that was a loose top. So if that's 8.75 there, I'll make it into 10. That would be loose enough. Okay. So put a mark as well. That would be loose enough, won't it? And then because you only need a strap, you therefore would just put it on the upper bust. Okay, let's go to the upper bust. The upper bust is 35. So 1/4 of that is 8.75. So again, start from the center front 2, 8, 75. So mark it there. Therefore, it would look like this. I would like it to look like that. Can you see it? Can you see this design? Let me erase that so you won't be confused. Right. I'm just showing you the drawing of the top. So if you're now going to take your ruler from the end there of your upper bust to the bust, that will look like that. Okay, so your top will look a bit like that. Now our desired length is 20 inches. Okay, let's put it 21. So again, you'll put your tape measure there on the shoulder one. Yeah. And then go down to there on your desired length. And mark it. Sure the mark is straight. Now because the top is loose, you don't need to measure the waist. Yeah? So if we'll cut this, let me cut it and I'll show you later. Now I would just like to show you how the pattern paper looks like. And actually the strap is a different entity or a different cut, but I just put it there so you can see how it would look like. Okay, let me open it. So when you open it, you can see that that's the front of the top or the blouse. Yes? So you can see this is the center front. But you will know that both sides are equal because we did fold it. Now still using the same pattern paper that we have. I don't want to confuse you, but it's easier to train you as early as possible now. Use a different type of color so that you won't get confused. I will also put here the measurement for the back. So for the back, I wanted it like this. So, okay, I'll do it first. So this is the back now. So it's slightly different design from the front. So I used the red ink so that it is different from the front. And you can also see that the strap would be extended here a bit. And I have a mark here as well for the opening. So that will be open from here to there. Because it's not a stretchable fabric, and therefore I have to have an opening so you can get into that top. So you have to make sure that your fabric is not creased. Fold your fabric. The right side of the fabric should be under. sure that there are no folded or creases under. Just let your hand slide on it, just to be sure that there are no creases. Right. Now we'll do the front side of the top first. So as you can see, our fabric is not stretchable and it's quite slippery. It's like a Challis cotton. So the center front is also on the folded side of the fabric. Okay, so just be sure that you've pinned them so that when you cut it, it won't slip and therefore it won't be wonky. Now we need to mark it. Okay, let's check the mark so that you will see. When you iron it or even just one wash, it will be gone. Those are tailor's markers. And even here at the top. Okay. Okay, we've got the fabric. For you to be sure that you would have enough leverage, make sure that you have enough space. Usually they give 4 inches. That's what the teachers would tell you. I only probably 2 inches, and then 1.5 on the side. And be sure that it's marked on the other side as well. So it's not very clear because I used the white chalk. Well, let you know where your straps are going. Put a little mark there, just so you will not get confused, or so you know that that's where you want to put your strap at the back as well. So if you open it, it's like that. Because it's quite drapey, the fabric is quite drapey, it won't look too big. It will just look like that, flowing, isn't it? If you can see, the center back has got a space here because we will have an opening there, and I will show you later why we have a space here as well as a space there. Seam here and a seam there. So, all marked. Now we're ready. Now for the strap. How long should the strap be? So it's easy to just measure it from the one that we drew on the pattern a while ago. So the back would be 7.5 inches and the front is 6. So total that, and that is your strap. Now when you're cutting the strap, it's 13.5, isn't it? So let's see. 13. Okay, mark it first so you won't get confused. So that's 13.5. Okay. Now you don't cut it there on the 13.5 mark, would you? You will have space as well on both sides. So here it is, just 1.5 in width And if you can see the mark for 13.5 on both ends. And you folded it so you now have 2 straps, which is needed, or which are needed on your top. So what's the problem of this fabric? As I've shown you a while ago, it's a little bit like, you can see me on the other side or at the back. So what we need to do here is I need to have a backing, because if I'm gonna wear that without a bra, then you might as well just wear it to bed. So if I put a little bit of a backing or a half lining up to there, then probably it will be decent enough to be worn in the garden, or if you want to go out wearing it. Okay? So here's the backing or the facing of the front. Just right below, I put it just right below the opening, the mark of the opening for the back. And you still mark where your strap should be, so you won't get confused. So this is it, and then when you open it into so for the back, I just made a short one because you don't need to cover anything anyway.